All right, we are going to go over what is called the 5-number summary, which has to do with also box and whisker plots. So we're going to start with the box and whisker plot. So what it does is, and by the way, just as a nerd fact, 5-number summary and the box and whisker plot are actually a fairly new thing in mathematics, which I think is kind of cool. If I remember correctly, it came out in like the 70s or 80s. So in terms of math things that you're learning, this is probably one of the newest things that has been adopted as like, you know, math that we use on a regular basis now. So I think that's kind of cool. Anyways, all right, so a box and whisker plot organizes data into 4 equal groups. Oops, my G disappeared. So in the purpose of this graph is to show the spread of the data. And what I mean by spread is like, you know, if it's all grouped in certain areas or if it's really spread out. And so, yeah, when we talk about spread, it's not necessarily that it is actually spread out. It's talking about like how much is it spread out and in what ways. Okay. So to make this graph, we use what's called the 5-number summary. So the 5-number summary man, my handwriting is struggling today. Okay. First is the minimum. And that's the smallest number. Let's scoop this all up. Second is what we call the first quartile. Which we abbreviate by Q1. And again, so this is broken into 4 equal groups. So quart, 4, yeah. So it's the first end of, it's the end of the first fourth. When we make the graph, it'll make a little bit more sense, hopefully. All right, and then we have our median. So our middle, right? And technically this is Q2. We don't really call it that very often, but it is. 4 is our third quartile. I guess I'll... And we do call that Q3. And then our last one is our maximum. So how this is displayed, because this is a graph, right? A box and whisker plot. Let's talk about that. So on the bottom, we always have a number line. So I'm going to draw it in this like turquoise, because I already used black. Okay, so this is a number line. I'm just going to put some random numbers. I'm just going to kind of do our general, you know, okay, so yeah, we've got a number line down here. And the number line is important, and sometimes I'll let you guys get away with just kind of drawing a quick sketch if I just want to know what the 5-number summary is. But really, to draw an actual box and whisker plot, the number line is really important, because if we don't have a number line that is evenly spread, we can't really see where the data actually is and look at the actual spread of the graph. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make this up. I'm going to say that our minimum is out here -6. So this is our min. And then we go somewhere and we're like, well, yeah, the first quartile ends at this one. It ends at -3 right there. So this is my Q1. We use just a line to show that. And then we have our median. I'm going to say our median's here at 0. Then we have our third quartile. I'm going to say is at 2. And what we do is we draw a box to connect all these. So I'm just going to, I don't know, make it in green for the heck of it. So that's the box in our box and whisker plot. And then I'm going to say our maximum is out here at 4. And so then we have our whiskers. Doop. Oh, that kind of missed the mark, didn't it? Close. We'll just make that dot bigger. All right, so let me add my labels. I kind of didn't do that as I went anymore. Median and our Q3. Okay. So that's the general layout of a box and whiskers. You have our min, our middle part is made up of this box, and then our max creates the last whisker. And what's really nice about this, and the reason that we use this, is each part of this is worth 25% of the data. So that's 25%. That represents 25%. That's 25%. Because what we're doing, if you think about like your knowledge of median, our median finds the middle number, right? When we cut the just our numbers in half. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chop those numbers in half and then the other numbers in half. And so we're going to go through this process to show how it's all broken up. But it lets us kind of talk about the middle 50% or the top 25% of the data. And so it gives us just more ways to kind of quantify things. All right, so let's actually make one here. So we've got the length of songs in seconds on a CD are listed below, and we want to make a box and whisker plot of the song lengths. So I was nice and put them all in order. I may not always. So what we do first is you always find the median first. Okay, so our median, let's figure that out. So our middle right here, that's our median at 293 or 239. So that's our median. So that exact number is our median, and that's great. And then what I do is I find the middle of the first half. So, and I don't include the median. It's been already taken care of. So because I want to look at this 50% of the graph. So my middle of that is the 181. So that's my Q1. And notice I'm kind of just almost drawing the box and whisker plot on the lines. That's just to kind of give me a reminder of where things are at, okay? In the middle of this is 257, so that's my Q3. And then my min and my max, even though you're well, wait, that's a part of Q3. It is, but it's still, we like to remind ourselves of what is the maximum and the minimum. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make an underline. Get my color back here. So it needs to be pretty big. We need to go from about 170 to 300 to be able to include everything. I can do better than that. Yeah, whatever. All right, so I'm going to start down here at 170. I'm going to try to make them spread out evenly. That would be 180. It's going to be 190. I guess I'll just label all of it. Nope, I don't have enough room. My hands already's not good enough. Sorry, and then this would be 200. This is 210, 220, 230, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and boom, 300. Okay, so let's put our stuff on here. So, you know, it's going to be an approximate, and that's okay. So at 173, I'm going to say it's about right there. So there's my minimum. And sometimes it's nice to label them. So I'm going to say that that's 173 there, just to kind of like say what my data actually is. And then Q1 is 181, so it's about right there. And then 239 is my median. Q3, 257, and then my max at 295. Okay, I'm gonna draw my box. Draw my whiskers. Ta-da! Box and whisker plot. Okay, so on the next page, in a second, we're gonna interpret these. I am gonna quickly kind of talk about, though, that like we can kind of see how things are spread out. Like things are pretty grouped down here, right? There's not far from the minimum to the first quartile, but then it gets really kind of spread out right there in that second quartile, and then same with that fourth. Our Q3 to our maximum is a little bit of a spread, and there's not very much of a spread between in that third quartile. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about range. You may already know this, but we're gonna talk about it anyways. Range is the maximum minus the minimum. And then that's really it. Okay, next page. Oh. Okay, and then we have this thing called the interquartile range, and we abbreviate it IQR. So I'm going to put that first, IQR. And the IQR, interquartile range, is the middle 50% of the data. So how we find that is our Q3 minus Q1. So it's like the range of the middle, okay? All right, so let's do some interpreting here. So we've got a box and whisker plot. It shows the normal precipitation in inches each month in Dallas and in Houston, Texas. And I do think this data is pretty accurate. What I took it from, I think this is real instead of some of my made up stuff. So let's just kind of look at this real fast. So we got Dallas here in blue. I'm like, well, those are really like, you know, short over here. And that's kind of long. All right. And then Houston, it's like scooted over. But it doesn't go too much higher than that. So I kind of like interpret it for myself a little bit first before I even read the questions. All right. But now I'll read the questions. So it says, how many months is Houston's precipitation less than 3.5 inches? So looking at Houston, looking at the bottom one, and it wants to know how many months is less than 3.5. So I kind of think about like, all right, well, from there to there, that's 25% of the data, right? So how many months is 25% of the year? So there's 12 months in a year, and I divide that by 4, and so that gives me, there's 3 months. So 25% of 12 is 3 months. Pew pew. Okay. What percent of the data for Dallas is below 3.2? So I look here at Dallas, 3.2. Well, that's at my Q3, and it wants to know below that. So, well, that's 25%, and that's 25%, and that's 25%. So that means that there is 75% of the data below 3.2. Okay, so this is what is the range for each city and what is interquartile range of each city. So Dallas's range, So we're gonna do our max 5.2 minus our minimum of 1.9, and that gives me 3.3. Then I do my interquartile range of 3.2 minus 2.3, which gives me 0.9. All right, and then Houston. If you're feeling like it, you know, hit pause, maybe do this for yourself for Houston. Well, we've got 5.4 minus 3 gives me 2.4. MIQR 4.4 minus 3.5 gives me 0.9. All right, so we can kind of see that the middle range of these, the IQR, this is the same, right? So the middle 50% of the data for each city has the same range. But overall, Dallas is a little bit more spread out than Houston, right? The overall range, 2.3 is bigger than 2.4. Okay, so compare the precipitation in Dallas with the precipitation in Houston. So there's a lot of different things you could say about this. And I will have questions like this on the test, and I'll just see whether, you know, you make a fair conclusion and you can support it using the data. So you could say something like Dallas has a wider range or spread. So Dallas is more spread out. You could say though, even though Dallas is more spread out, really who gets more rain? Well, Houston does, right? Because look at how it's like, its minimum's at 3 inches each month and its maximum 5.4. So like all of its data is more than the 50%, almost the 75% of what Dallas gets, right? So I could say Houston gets more rain though. So Houston gets more rain. Yeah, and I would expect a kind of your ability to back it up. Like on a test, I might ask why, right? Why does Houston get more rain? And you have to say, well, because this data is, you know, almost about 75% of what Dallas is, just like I did earlier. Okay, so your assignment is posted on Google Classroom. Have fun, good luck, bye.